Hello, everybody. My name is Ari, and you are listening to Bass Tunes on KUCI at 8.9 FM in Irvine. The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. It appears that I did not end up bringing the proper adapter for this, playing the little intro I normally have, so just imagine it in your head. There you go. That's your intro. On today's program, it's going to be pretty varied. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things that come with my head as we do it. But I do have a couple things I want to discuss. The first one is the Saint Banger remake of the album that I have never stopped talking about since about March of last year, Saint Anger by Metallica. I actually got this randomly recommended to me on YouTube. Let's pull up the information to make sure I got that right. Yeah, let's get that up there so I make sure I have it. Yes, here we go. Saint Anger, but it's actually good. Saint Banger, and the B's put in brackets. Full album stream by Michael Shea Audio. And as we see in the description, it says this is a re-recording of Metallica's album Saint Anger. The songs are shorter, the production is better, and the snare drum is more tolerable. I took some creative liberties with the songs and did what I thought would benefit them. Now, I've sat down and listened to the full thing over a couple of days, bits and pieces, and I have to say, I love it. It's great. It's probably what I would have assumed a modernized remake of this record should have been. Okay? Now, keep in mind, there was another remake of this record back in 2015. Hashtag Saint Anger 2015, people call it. And it was made by, let me just pull that up to make sure I have everything there, Daryl Gardner and a bunch of other people, right? Let's see here. Let me make sure I have the credits correctly. Daryl Gardner, Chris Dando, and Dave Cox. Okay? They decided to re-record the album from the ground up, shorten everything, and make it better, with a more modernized metal sound. Now, this one's a little different, okay? I don't know if you've heard Saint Anger 2015. I could probably pull up some clips of it or something like that at some point, but I don't have it on my laptop, so I'm going to have to improvise another way in a little bit. But I'll probably do that, especially for the remake, the new one. But this Saint Banger came out January 8th, 2024. It's available up on YouTube, and you can also get downloads in MP3 and FLAC lossless format, which is the way I decided to listen to it after hearing a couple of the songs. Here's the thing, okay? First thing you want to take a look at is the length. How short is this compared to the original? Well, the original record was an hour and 14 minutes long, okay? I believe, to be correct, standing length, that's what I remember. 75 minutes, okay? This one is 54 minutes and 46 seconds. So this is a much, much shorter affair. All right. This thing has been cut down by 20 minutes, 20 entire minutes. And how does he do it? Well, a lot of it ends up being what we would have expected. And by we, I mean me. What I expected him to do was basically just shorten the amount of times a section is repeated and maybe cut out some repetitiveness. Because if you've heard me do this review of this original record, Saint Anger, the main issue with it, aside from the production and the snare drum and all that, is this. It's too long because there's not enough substance in here for the songs to be as long as they are, because the majority of songs here are over 6 minutes long. Okay? The longest track on Saint Banger is like 8 minutes and 15 seconds, which is long, but that's the final track all within my hands, originally being 8 minutes and 45 seconds. And that is far and away the longest song. Every other song on here is around the 3 minute mark. Frantic is 3 minutes and 28. Saint Anger is 7:59. Let's see. About 4 minutes, maybe a little less than that. Dirty Window, again, around 4 minutes. Invisible Kid, 5 minutes. Most of these songs end up clocking in around the high end of 3 minutes or 4 minutes long. And the way he did it was pretty simple. Just cut out sections and immediately get to the next one. Okay, I'll give you an example for Frantic. I might play it. I might as well have to figure out how to pull this up. Hold on. Gotta make sure my YouTube and all that's signed in. So we get that pulled up here. Actually, no, I have it on Drive. What am I doing? I have it on Drive. Shared with me. Start. Yeah, let's do the MP. Yeah, let's do the FLAC. We got power here. Anyways, I'll have that pulled up. Let's say frantic. Let's say the main thing, right? The sort of refrain of my lifestyle determines my death style at the end gets entirely cut and immediately moves on to the outro part of it, right? There's the sort of build up to the final part and the next chorus and all that all get cut out. But it goes, do I have the strength to know how I go? Can I find it inside to deal with what I shouldn't know? And then you're like, oh, okay, we're straight up back into the ending already. I'm like, wow. It actually feels the most shortened out of basically any version I've heard. There was another one called, well, it wasn't a remaster, a re-recording. It was just a edit of it to shorten it down to around the same length. Let me make sure I have this right again. Let's see here. Was it called Amended? Shortened. Abridged. This was 52 minutes, so even shorter, mind you. And that's mostly because of one song, the fifth track, Invisible Kid, being shortened down from like 8 minutes to, I don't know, like 3 or 4, by basically cutting out everything. And we can go into Invisible Kid specifically because I actually do think it's the most interesting one of the most interesting ones in terms of how they decided to cut it down, how the Saint Banger creator, Michael Shea, decided to cut it down, right? There's a middle section on here, a sort of bridge of Invisible Kid in the original one that takes a while to build up to, but in the abridged version online, it was basically cut out. And also in the remake from 2015, it was entirely cut out, right? In the remake, they at least play the riff for like 2 bars, where I'll basically just give you, I'll hum it, right? Basically, after the next, after the, I think, second chorus, because it goes intro, verse, break, back into the verse, break, pre-chorus, chorus. Or maybe pre-chorus, pre-chorus, chorus. I don't know. The I'm okay. Open your heart. I'll be there right here. That part right now. And then it goes back into the second verse. And keep in mind, there is one verse on Invisible Kid in terms of writing. There is one verse and a second. There's like one verse that basically gets played twice. Well, one verse, a break, and then the same exact style of verse, but with different words, which is just another verse. So in all actuality, there's like one verse on this thing because it's set up like it's one thing. It doesn't go into the chorus in the second one. It's the same thing, right? In this record, he in the abridged version, the way the man who did it, or woman or person, I don't know, the way the person did it was basically cut it down, just play the verse, basically keep it totally straight until the first chorus. After the chorus, immediately get into the ending chorus or an ending verse. I don't know where there's like the double kicks. I don't know how to describe it. It's louder and faster, not even faster. It just sounds more crazy. That's it. There's no bridge. There's no ooh, what a good boy you are. Like that verse, that melody, that, which basically just gets repeated over and over again, the bridge while he's singing. The remake just plays it. It goes, that's it, right? So let's pull up an example. I'm just going to pull these up. Why not? Because I want to make sure. Also, one more thing, since it's going to be a pretty casual episode, I've decided to take callers for this one. If anyone wants to have anything to say about the topics I'm talking about, or just say hi, or say that my show is horrible, or whatever, just keep it nice, keep it clean. And if you want to do that, you can call 949-824-5824. That's our station's line, 949-824-5824. If anybody does want to call in, I'll repeat that every so often. And if you do, thank you very much. Friend, I might not know you, whatever, I don't care. But give me a second to pick up because I'm talking the entire time. But, it'll be fun. Anyways, back to this. Let's see if we can go to 2015 here and then pull up the FLAC. Anyways, the way that they did it in this new remake, right, is great because the bridge, the ooh, it like goes atmospheric. You're like, wow, this is really cool. There's like these twinkly sort of descending notes on the guitar on the right side. It's great. And I forgot to mention, everything here has been re-recorded except for the vocals, okay? In the 2015 remake, the vocals were totally redone by a new guy. Everything was re-recorded from the ground up with, of course, the main song, but changed a bit. Not as much as this remake, but the new one. But in this one, instead, it seems like he's using stem separation to get the original vocals by James Hetfield out there and sort of, I guess, time sync them as much as he can to fit with the new recording. It seems like he recorded it first and then tried to put the vocals on top. This is one of my main criticisms, though it's not a massive one. I think the way the separation sounds is great. I think it does a very good job. It's pretty good. Like, I don't know how he did it, but it sounds great in terms of how it's mixed or whatever. But my criticism of it, and it's not always, and I don't fault him for this because I'm sure it was a challenge to do this. I don't know how I would do it, but the vocals sort of either go too slow or sometimes they get out of time with what's going on instrumentally. And obviously, they were never going to be in perfect time. It's really hard to do that. It's really hard to sync up two things together. I know this personally, having to edit these videos for this show, it's very challenging. But I'll say this, right? Although it was a challenge, I think he did a good job. I do wish it sometimes kind of falters in that front, right? The other thing I'm curious about, and I am planning, if you're listening to this, Michael, I'm planning on reaching out and seeing if he's willing to do an interview on the show. So maybe expect that in the next week or two. Hopefully. I really hope we can do this. It'll be a phone interview, probably pre-recorded. I'll just be in the station and playing it. Maybe talk afterwards, depending on how long it goes, and give my feedback on it. But I'm really curious to find out what was digitally programmed, because I wasn't certain if the drums were originally recorded or, like, it sounds artificial, right? The drums don't sound like they're recorded in a room. They sound like they're played of samples. So was an electric drum kit? Was someone playing along to it, or were they fully programmed, right, digitally? I don't really have any qualms against that. And even the 2015 remake, the double kicks were put in after the fact, just, I guess, according to the creator, for the sake of time, having a rush schedule to get this thing out there and ability. It's hard to do double kicks, especially as fast as Lars are doing them, and especially when they're not sounding sloppy, because the ones on the actual original record do sound pretty sloppy, to be honest with you. But yes, the guitars were recorded, the bass, everything sounds great. It has a little more bite to it. I think the 2015 remake was intentionally decided to sound like a more modern metal record from the time, with the good and bad that comes with it. I'd say bad in terms of how it sounds. It doesn't have as much impact to me, especially the bass. The bass has, like, no impact. It sounds like, I read a comment that it was basically just directly plugged into the interface and not, like, recorded from an amplifier or even, like, a digital amp. Basically, the thing is, even though we have all this digital recording stuff, it's generally better to record the amplifier with a microphone instead of just plugging it directly into a computer. Now, obviously, stuff like time, space, budget, all that stuff can result in difficulties in doing that, but I do think it's a better option generally. And in my personal experience, from my observations at the station when we do live shows, it's what we always do, whether that's on Broken Sound, great show, tune in, Mondays, 10 p.m., shout out to Tommy, or stuff I recorded for my show, or Mutation Vacation. I've basically witnessed 3 bands, and I have somewhat participated in one of them, which is for my show. The other 2 were for different shows. Anyways, that's what I've noticed. Obviously, it's different from a live recording, but it's sort of the same thing, right? It's not going to be as isolated of a studio in the station. We're all playing together in the same place, but yeah. With the Invisible Kid bridge, I think it's a really interesting look at how it's done. There's some more solos added, but they're not really like 100% there. There are solos. There were no solos on the original record, of course, and there were none on the 2015 remake because they wanted to keep the original spirit. There are some things I would call solos on Saint Banger, the new remake, which aren't really that. They're not that, what's the word? They're not that emphasized. They're not given that much sort of spotlight. But, some new line or something gets played during a section, even when the vocals are kicking in, even during like a verse or a breakdown or something where there's vocals, they're playing in the background. It's more so just like a little addition, and I do respect that. Back to Invisible Kid. The one thing I really wish, and I mentioned this in a comment, I commented under this new remake, and the guy actually responded, and he said he was looking forward to seeing my thoughts on this. So, one, thank you so much if you're listening to this right now. I really appreciate that. Like, you did a really interesting, this is a really cool thing you did, and I think you did a great job. All right? I'd love to have you on. Anyways, other people have said that, and he understands that there's this ending of Invisible Kid, you know, you know what, let me just see if I can do this. I'm going to do a comparison of the bridge for Invisible Kid from the original record, the 2015 one, and the new one, and it'll be kind of short. It won't be super, what's the word? It won't be super detailed. It won't be super long and all that. I won't play it for too long, just to be fair, but I do want it to be heard. So let's see if we can do that right now. Okay, so first off, let's pull the original up. So first, you're going to hear the original Invisible Kid. Let's see if I can pull the bridge up and make sure I have it under the right amount. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. So this is the original one where the bridge comes in. Here you go. There's this long breakdown. Remember that riff. Skipping forward a bit. And that's how it ends. And then it goes back into the original riff, back into the chorus, and we can go to the ending now, where it's Open Your Heart beating right here. And this is the ending part that I love. And that sort of gets repeated, played a little differently, whatever. Let's now move on to the 2015 version, right? This is the Daryl Gardner 2015 re-recorded. This was a pretty somewhat big deal at the time. Let's see if we can pull this up here. You can definitely tell the difference how it sounds. Wait. Oh, here it is. So it's pulling into the new one. It's pulling into the new thing. You hear that? And now actually listening to it, I kind of see what they're trying to go for, where instead of the double kicks coming in like the sort of repetitiveness, the repetitive section, instead it immediately switch before that it's like a lead up to da, 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 da. So that's an interesting way, I think, to I guess repurpose the riff and repurpose that melody. But I really do think it would have been interesting to see that section redone, maybe with some modern tech or modern arrangements. Oh, it appears that wow, what was that? Sorry, my headphones just told me that low battery. Please recharge headset and cut out the entire audio. That's very nice. I'm using noise canceling headphones here, and I have them powered on and plugged into the soundboard because basically it significantly improves the audio quality that's processed, you know, all that stuff. Anyways, that's off topic. Let's go to the new version. Let's see if we can hear this. Oh, here we go. We got it. Okay, let's see here. And the full song is 5 minutes. Here you go. This is the new remake. So here you go. There's not. You hear that? That's an entirely new melody. You can definitely hear a lot of difference in how it sounds from all three versions, how the guitars sound, bass, drums, all that. It's interesting. And then you hear that harmony, and I'm like, wow. When I heard that harmony, I was like floored. Great. It's a really interesting way to sort of take this bridge and improve it. But then if we go back to the ending, this is the last chorus where normally the ending would come in. I didn't go back to the remake, actually. I should have done that. Hold on. That's it. It just cuts out, and that's it. The song's over. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. That's it. There is no ending. Now let's go back to the new version. No, not the new version, the 2015 version. And this one's interesting, actually, because it stops, goes into the ending riff, and then the last chorus is used with this final ending. That's an interesting way to arrange it. This is what I find really interesting about this this entire thing. I really do find it interesting to look at how different people interpret a piece of work and remake it and see, one, what they think sounds good, and two, I guess just what their thought process, what are their inspirations, what shapes somebody to make art in the way that they do, and sort of take a very personal project from a band and try to extrapolate the core of it and then just expand upon that. That's what I find really, really interesting about this sort of saga of remakes. And there are other re-recordings, remasterings, all that around you can find on the internet. There are so many of them, it's not even funny. But I think these two, from what I can tell, are the ones that have gotten the most traction and reception. Saint Banger is brand new. The 2015 version is almost 10 years old. It's 9 years old now and has like 1 million views on YouTube. And actually, recently, sometime last year, it ended up finally getting put onto streaming services. I guess, of course, every single one is bookended with the parentheses cover because, of course, covers are generally legal under fair use, right? You don't have to get permission for covers or parody. I think covers you might have to. Actually, covers you. Hold on, let me make sure. Do you need permission for here? Oh, it just pops up here. You do have to obtain a mechanical license before you release it. Okay, so you do need to get some sort of license and royalty split. So it seems like they were doing that because if you look in the description of the 2015 video, all right, looks like it's shutting off. No, why is it doing that? Let me just turn this off. Hold on. Yeah, it says here, permission granted by Q Prime Management, which is their management company. No. Turn off. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there you go. That's fine. That'll do for now. Okay, yeah, this sounds way worse. Anyways, permissions granted. They had to get permission and all that stuff. There are no added solos. There you go. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the ending of Invisible Kid here, the 2015 remake, and then we can discuss a little bit more about the record, and then probably maybe do a break or something, talk about something else, the yada yadas. Let's see here. Okay. Don't stray too far. And the video is really good because you can see everybody playing it. Here you go. And then it just goes into the next thing. Anyways, that's all fine and dandy. Let me think about other songs on the remake that I want to highlight and sort of what changes. I do have another criticism in terms of arrangement, specifically on the 9th track, The Unnamed Feeling, one of 3 singles that got released, and a song that many people who have heard this album say is a pretty good one of the better ones, one of the more ones that have sort of stayed the test of time, right? But let's see. Basically, I'll say this. I don't think I can play this one. This one has some dirty words in it. But I can say this, okay? It goes way quicker into the verses, right? Where in the original version it's like actually I'll pull that part up. I think I can do that. Let's see here. Official video. Wait, no, this is the single version. Yeah, if you look at it, it's the funny thing, off topic, when you go on like YouTube to listen to music, a lot of it is like the songs that already have music videos that are linked to the artist, those are the ones that get put up. But for this song specifically, and a lot of other ones, like this album, but a lot of other artists, they usually end up, the music videos end up being like a radio edit or something like that. So The Unnamed Feeling on the record is like 7 minutes. This one's 5.5 minutes. Same thing with the first 2 songs which were also singles. Those ones were shortened down a good bit. Not Some Kind of Monster, even though that one did get a radio edit version, which is an entire remastering, somewhat like altered of the sound, and gets shortened down to like 4 minutes, which also. Oh, one more thing I really do like about both of these remakes is the fact that they didn't cut out the ending part of Some Kind of a Monster, the sort of the bridge breakdown. I don't know what to call it. The let's pull that part up. Why not? Because I love it. I love it. I love it. It's like 6 minutes in, I think. Let's see. Is that even going? Yeah, this part. That part is so cool. I love it. I abso-freaking-lutely love it. Let's see what it sounds like on the 2015 remake. All right, that's cool. Now let's go to the new one. Let's see here. Play anyway. There's a lot of interesting things about the Some Kind of Monster one. I feel like it's a little inaccurate. I think it's inaccurate because, and not that it has to be totally accurate to the original recording, mind you. I don't expect everything to be the same. And you heard the Invisible Kid song. That's entirely different. There are new chords. It's entirely a different feel and sound. But here's the thing. It's how it's played, okay? I think the da-na-da-da-da-da, right? He's playing it, the new one, as da-na-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That is not what the guitars are playing, as far as I can tell. It goes, and that's the other thing I'll say about this new remake, and also the older one to an extent, the 2015 one, is the other criticism I have, and it's not really one that I think is like again, most of these criticisms I have for this record, this remake, aren't exactly, shall we say, 100% like this is horrible, like this is a glaring flaw. It's just a personal preference thing, and this was created with individual's personal preferences on how to make something sound better, in their opinion, okay? It ends up being this. I feel like a lot of the time, the way the drums are or the way the guitars are playing, it feels more complicated and more thrashy, more like faster drumming, or like I guess punk style drumming. I forgot what to call it, but it's there on the Saint Anger song originally. The no regrets, I hit the lights, with the way the drums are playing. Also, it seems that we're at the halfway part, so if you're not aware, you are listening to Bass Tunes on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm Ari. The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. If you want to find out more about that, go to kuci.org. And if you want to hear more about my show, I have an Instagram, BASEDTUNES And of course, the station has an Instagram, KUCI FM on Instagram. We're doing giveaways and stuff like that. We got one planned in the next, I guess, week or so. It's going to be a good one. I hope you guys are going to enjoy that one and, spread some love for the station. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we're still on this remake because I'm not done with this one yet. I don't even know if I'm going to do anything else for this episode, to be honest with you. I don't even know what I'm doing. I never know what I'm doing. Why am I even here? Okay, we're back to normal. Some Kind of Monster. Yeah. It feels like it overcomplicates things and doesn't really make it heavier or anything. I just feel like it becomes more mushy noise. I like the simplicity of some of the riffs and the rhythm, especially the way it's rhythmically played is the important part. But yeah, there are some interesting parts. The other thing I think is interesting is the way that the song My World immediately gets into the ending bass part. There's no other chorus, but I don't know if it's that important. Let's see. What other songs are interesting to do? Let's see. I forgot which song it was. Oh, yeah, All Within My Hands. That's the one that I think got, again, some of the biggest changes on any of them, especially the ending. Now, the ending on All Within My Hands is the final track. It's the longest one on the record, and it's the one that kind of goes off the rails. It's like the final. It's also another thing is that it's actually Metallica's second. It's tied for the number one spot of the fastest song they've ever played at 212 beats per minute. You might not hear it when you're listening to it, but it is very fast. It's a lot of beats per minute. Okay. So on the ending of All Within My Hands in the original one, and there's also the acoustic / orchestral sort of redoing of it that makes it more sappy and like interesting, which is a good one, mind you. I think it's got a really interesting idea, but I like the metal one more because I like metal. But the ending is kind of notorious because it's a man screaming kill rhythmically 36 times. Kill, 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 kill. Like that, except way more crazy, right? In the 2015 version, this basically gets totally removed. You can hear them at the end of it sort of going like, kill, kill, like laughing about it. But in the new one, it's even more different, where it sort of turns into like a metal breakdown ending section. And sort of, in my opinion, I feel like it kind of loses a bit of the emotional impact of the ending on the original song, All Within My Hands. Personally, at least. Because it feels like on this point, the record is falling apart. He can't control himself. He's realized that he needs to control. That's how he expresses love. The whole song was written based off of was a statement by James saying, I guess the way that I learned to love things was just to choke them to death. Sort of having to control over everything. And I think the control aspect, the control thing, was sort of the main impetus between a lot of the strife between the band and all that, and what caused this record to be made and the circumstances surrounding the record's creation, right? So it feels like a good way to cap it off, even if it kind of goes on a little too long. But but like that too, and then like the burn down, and it's like totally falling apart at the seams, playing dissonant chords, playing with feedback, all this stuff. You really feel uneasy, and then it just ends, and that's it. You're done. Song's over, record's over. Get on with your day. You've been basically attacked for almost 90 minutes. You've been attacked. You've been pummeled with sound that might not even sound good. But you've been attacked, and it feels like it's a challenge to get through, and you're done. You know, it's like the last breath of it. It's really interesting. So I feel like the remake doesn't really do that aspect justice, but it does take it in a more traditional aspect, and it's an interesting way to get the kill part of it done. I'll explain it as we play. First, we're going to go with the original, okay? Let's see if we can get the ending part. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go, okay. Hands. This is the sort of ending of the chorus. A nice little harmony, which I think actually sounds pretty good. And then you're like, okay, what's going to happen now? On the third beat, it switches over to the version. Listen. That's a cool way to play with the timing. And it goes on, and it goes on, and we keep... Right? And I'm just going to skip it because it's a lot. Yeah. Right? And then it's like... And then... It's like, what is that chord? And then it goes on again. I'm skipping forward. And here's the last part. And that's it. Album over. The actual full version's more interesting, but you know, I don't feel like having to do the entire thing. All Within My Hands, actually. Is it that long? Let's see here. Where does it go? Okay, so it's doing the All Within My Hands part. No. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot about the remake entirely cutting out the 2015 one, entirely cutting out the bridge. Unless I heard it wrong. Let's see here. And it also plays it slower, and it doesn't do the weird feedback, which I wish it did. And that's it. It's done. That's it. It's over. It cuts the credits, basically. I don't like that. Okay? So let's go into the new version, the 2024 banger or whatever. I don't even know anymore. I'm just talking words. Let's see here. Yeah, here it is. Let's see here. And you also hear the double kick, the and then the again part gets replayed to sort of just immediately get it out of the way. And then this gets played, right? And you're like, okay, we're getting back to new version then. And it's getting there. And then you're like, wait, what? So it's building into something new, right? If you can hear it. So it's building into something new here. When's it going to kick in? So the kill is just sort of put at the ending of the bar. Which I think is an interesting way to sort of make it more of a chant. It's a chant, it's not a scream anymore. And this sounds entirely new. And then the original vocal gets put back in. So it's like a more traditional metal breakdown. I like it. And it goes on for a bit. Like, we're like 45 seconds. There's 45 seconds of the song remaining. And then the part gets done. And then this actually sounds not dissonant. All right? And then one more time, and it's going to sound not. Oh, wait. Oh, was that it? Oh, that was it. Okay, never mind. That was it. I was wrong. Hey. What's the matter here? What's the matter here? I don't know nothing. Okay. But yeah, I mean, there's other songs you can take a look at. They're all cut down around this much. But I think that generally gives a good overview of this remake. And I wanted to highlight the sections that are totally different, right? Did I actually? You know what? Let me real quick. I want to see if there's anything interesting to hear about the bridge in this all. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is the. Yeah, let's see if there's anything interesting about it. There's like a bar gets cut out. Okay, whatever. It's not that important. But yeah, generally just imagine everything from the original record, but cut down by a bar or two or three, or some sections even entirely omitted, which I'm not a fan of in certain cases. And also imagine just entirely re-recording with a bit more of a garagey, less polished sound compared to the 2015 remake. And that's sort of what you get with Saint Banger. You know, it's not, none of these are going to make me drop the original version, okay? I don't know if that was the intention for any of these remakes. Some people are like, oh yeah, I just burned the 2015 remake onto a CD and put it in my car instead. No, I'm not going to do that because you can't top the original. You can't do that, okay? You can't do that. So, yeah. That's my 2 cents. Okay. I do like the remake though. You know, it's good. It doesn't have the original's flavor or feel. It doesn't have all the circumstances and have the fun story about it. It doesn't have that. It's an entirely new product, but it's something that I don't know how many times I've really seen a record be entirely re-recorded as many times and changed and abridged and trying to solve the problem and making it good. You know, that's why I kind of called it the room of music. Even though, to be honest with you, I don't know how much I actually agree with that now, but that's another topic for this point, right? But yeah, I'm a very big fan of this. I think it's the better of the two remakes, in my opinion. And shout out to this. You can check out on Michael Shea Audio on YouTube, and you can find this. There's also downloads of it available. All this stuff, you know. It's probably not going to be put on like streaming and stuff because that's like legal things. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. It's pretty good. Michael, if you want to come on the show, I will reach out to you personally. But if you're hearing this now, come on to the Bass Tunes program. I would really like, this would be probably my favorite interview I've ever done. And I've interviewed some bands. I've interviewed some people. You know, I don't interview all that much, mind you. A lot of other people do interviews. I don't really do that. I'm a one-man show. But it's really fun doing that. And I could go on for hours about this record. Like, listen, I've dedicated so much of my time writing and all this stuff to this stupid record. I don't know. Sometimes something will just grab me by the, you know, and just keep me there. And maybe soon I'll finally shake myself of this. We're not at a year yet of my obsession with it. I don't think my Limp Bizkit obsession / new metal lasted that long. And I guess I'm still kind of on that because people can consider this new metal. It's not. It's not new metal. It's a weird mishmash of like, I don't know, stoner metal maybe, like Kuci. I think Cayuse actually was a big inspiration I read. Also stuff like Corrosion of Conformity, maybe Down. I don't know about Down, but like, that sort of vibe was probably an inspiration. So keep that in mind. If you want to, that's why I ended up deciding to check those ones out, mind you, because I heard, oh, it's like this. And I'm like, oh, and nothing is like this record. Nothing. Not even these remakes are going to do it for me. I would have to make this myself. I would literally, like the Fuel remake in the style of it, that's what I want. I want more stuff like that. Maybe shortened down a bit and maybe not as excessive. Because, as much as I like the record, there are some glaring flaws with it. Actually, no. I like it in spite of its glaring flaws. For its glaring flaws, but also in spite of it. Okay. So, yeah, that's good. I think that's it for, like, this discussion on the Saint Banger remake. I just said check it out, do all that stuff, have fun, don't hurt yourself, have fun. I'm not done with the show, mind you, but I am done with this segment. What else is worth noting about?